Hey, what's up everybody? What's up? How you doing today? I'm chilling, ready to get some good work in. Had a freaking awesome weekend personally in my own life. And lots of good food, lots of carbs, lots of donuts and pizza. So we got some work to put in today. And you all, you know what we're doing by now. We are documenting our work that we're putting in every day. One reason is just because YouTube is free file storage. If I were to record these videos in 1080p every day to keep track of my progress, I would start to run out of hard drive space, stuff like that. So one reason to record them is because of what I'm training for. I want to document the training process and how the work that I put in for that. Then at the same time, we're killing two birds with one stone. We are cleaning up the toxic sludge being spread through our society. Just a little bit, just a tiny bit, just doing our little part to stand up for the values that we believe in, which are liberty, love, and truth. And today I want to talk about why it's important to understand that all of the hate and the racism being directed at Shedeur comes from MAGA. Now listen to me closely. Not every MAGA person is a racist or a Shedeur hater. Okay, MAGA people who are going to get triggered because this is the first thing they say. So let's get it out of the way. The beginning of the video, I'm going to repeat it. Not everybody in MAGA is a racist. Not everybody in MAGA is trying to hold Shedeur back due to racism. Okay? We clear? Now that being said, every single person who is a racist or who is trying to hold Shedeur Sanders back, 99.99% of them are MAGA. And we're going to talk about, I know it doesn't feel good to talk about this. People don't want to talk about it. Look at the third question. Why have we all been indoctrinated not to talk politics in sports or culture? Because we see that it affects good young men's lives in major ways, okay? And Shedeur is one privileged example of all the millions of young black men and minority groups that these racists are trying to exploit, use, and hold down while they laugh in all of our faces. It matters if you want that to stop happening to good people. It matters because even though Shedeur is privileged, he doesn't deserve this. It matters because, look at question number 2. What would you do if you look like me and people assume and lump you in with these racists? What would you do if you look like me and you hate racists, you hate racism, you want to see every good young man and woman lifted up to be able to compete equally? If you're a good person who wants fair competition and you hate people who try to rig the deck, what would you do if you were getting lumped in with those people? Okay, these are some things to consider. We're going to talk about it. Jennifer says, there's a little bit of a spelling thing here, or maybe an autocorrect, but Jennifer's basically saying, of course the hate is rooted in racism with his current coach. So let's talk about that. Again, not every MAGA voter is a Shedeur hater or a racist, but every Shedeur hater and racist is MAGA. 99.99%. Don't believe me? Just ask them. Anybody who's going to say that they don't believe that or take that at face value, we're just going to move on and assume you're too remedial to have this conversation because you're not awake to reality. Because all you have to do is ask them. All you have to do is ask these people if they're pro-Trump, and they will tell you. They are proud. And they'll be like, why? Why does that matter? It's like, oh, okay, well, I just saw you saying some racist shit. I saw you trying to hold Shedeur, a good man, back, and so I assumed you were MAGA. And then they're going to get mad. But if you just ask them, they will tell you. Because at the end of the day, they're proud to be in this gang. I've heard many of my black friends over the last couple of weeks, and several popular black content creators. We're going to watch a video from I Smoke Hip Hop Live in a second. DJ Bless One, the best one. Shout out. I love you, my guy. I disagree with you on some very small things. We're going to talk about, why I think it matters. I've heard a bunch of them talk about how obviously there is racism behind the motives to tear down Shedeur Sanders. But when I point out to them that all of those people are MAGA, they either shy away from the conversation, or many of them have told me that they also voted for Trump. And this is the problem. This is why I'm talking about this today. Again, not every MAGA voter is a racist or Shedeur Sanders hater, but every racist or Shedeur Sanders hater, 99.9% of them are MAGA. Just ask them. And this is a problem, and this is why it matters. Some of these men that I've talked to sided, they took the same vote. They politically ganged up with all the racists in the United States who voted for Trump. And now they want to play dumb with us about who is who. And this, again, if you were a good man being lumped in with racists because of how you look, what would you do? What would you do if you despise racists, if you hate them, if you hate anybody who looks like you, who tries to hold a good man like Shedeur down? If everything in your life was against those people and other people look at you and assume you are those people because of how you look, would you talk about it? Would you have something to say? Would you want to make it clear how people can tell who is who? I bet you would. I bet you would never want to be lumped in with the gang of people who stand against everything you believe in. We have to talk about it because it matters. You see it literally impacting Shedeur's life. And anybody who follows Shedeur knows this is unjust because he's a great young man. And he's just one example, again, one singular example among millions of young black men held down by the racist, sheltering MAGA party. Okay, the MAGA party welcomes racists, it gives them cover, it gives them a shelter. And we've got some dudes calling out the racism against Shedeur, yet identifying with the group that shelters all the racists. I would point you towards the young Republicans. Now, these were people in their 30s. These people hold political office. They're in a club called the Young Republicans, so people try to play it off like they're teenagers. No, these are grown-ass adults. And the Vice President of the United States would not condemn them using the N-word with hard R's, saying that they want to send Democrats to the gas chambers. And much more. But again, I'm saying that to say this is the party that shelters and hides and protects racists, and that is not up for debate. This is why politics matter, okay? And I know we have all been indoctrinated not to talk politics in sports and culture. I'm asking you why that is. Why do you think it's so uncomfortable? Why are so many people afraid as soon as we say the word MAGA? They're like, nope, I'm noping out of this conversation. Why? And again, what would you do if you were a good person being lumped in with racists because of how you look? What would you do? Why have we all been conditioned to be afraid to talk about this? Why have we all been conditioned to be afraid to say, I see who's who? Not everybody in MAGA is a racist, but every racist I see is MAGA. You understand the difference. Everybody understands the difference, but MAGA wants to play dumb. That's part of this group, is you play dumb, and that's part of my friends, a small group of my black male friends, saying that they voted for Trump, yet calling out the racism against Shedeur. And when I say, don't you see that all those people are MAGA? They're like, I don't want to talk politics. You can't have it both ways. You can't want to protect good young men like Shedeur and the millions of young men less advantaged than he is who suffer even more at the hands of these people. You can't want to help those people have a fair competition and at the same time say that you don't want to talk politics. I mean, you can say that if you just want an excuse to leave the conversation, but let me ask you, does that come from a place of strength or does it come from a place of fear? Is it strong not to talk politics when you see good men like Shedeur being oppressed by it? And he's privileged, he's going to be okay, but it's still not right. It's still unjust. It's still wrong as hell if you know what a good young man that Shedeur is. And he's going to be okay. What about the young men who aren't going to be okay? And that's why we have to talk about it, and that's why it matters. Ignoring these racists as they coalesce, as they all join in one single party to accumulate power. Again, they all join MAGA. Not everybody in MAGA is a racist, but every racist joins MAGA. Ignoring them as they coalesce in a single party to accumulate power is saying that we don't care if racists exploit, manipulate, and use young men like Shedeur. If we ignore it, whatever excuse we want to make, at the end of the day, our actions speak louder than words. If we ignore it and we do nothing and we don't talk about it and we just say, I'm going to get mine and I'm going to complain about the racism against Shedeur, but I don't want to put myself on the line. I don't want to stand up for him. I don't want to talk about it. What you're saying is that we don't care. No matter if you want to talk about racism all day, but you don't want to take a stand, you want to talk about what's being done to Shedeur and act like it's all of us, what would you do if you were a good man being lumped in with racists? Because a lot of these channels I see are like, man, it's always been this way. Yes, it has, but you got to say who. Because I'm against them. I'm on your side. But if you just say it's always been that way, then that's when people look at me and assume that I'm MAGA out in society. And how would you feel if you stood against everything that those bitch-made motherfuckers do and you got lumped in with them? What would you do? You'd probably talk about it. You'd probably make yourself clear. And I'm calling on all good men and women to do this in your life however you can. Make your position clear. We are not them. Especially white people, especially white men. Good men and women must stand up against MAGA if we want to ensure this type of disgusting behavior ends with this generation. If we ever want to clean up this filth, we gotta talk about it, we gotta see it, we gotta process it, we gotta go after the people that are spreading it. And we can't do that pretending that we're all the same, because we're not. Nobody who voted for Kamala is a racist. Nobody who voted for Kamala hates Shedeur and wants to hold him back. Not everybody in MAGA is a racist. Not everybody in MAGA wants to hold Shedeur back. But everyone who is a racist, everyone who does want to hold Shedeur back is part of MAGA. And it's important for the same reason that we don't just not eat plants because some of them are poisonous. We distinguish, these are poisons, these are herbs, these are medicines. Two different plants, one can kill you, one can heal you. Okay? Two different groups of white people. We are not the same. And if you were being lumped in with racists, you would probably want to say something about it too. What makes men be able to clearly see the racism being directed at Shedeur, yet unable or unwilling to see that all of those people are MAGA? How can you have the discernment, the intelligence to see through all of the bullshit of Kevin Stefanski, the Browns owners, the NFL owners, all colluding against Shedeur, the Cleveland media, and again, not all of them, because some of them have his back. How could we see that racism and then not want to clearly identify who it's coming from when it's easy? It's all part of MAGA. And why are we uncomfortable saying that? Why are we uncomfortable about talking about that? We will kind of get into it. You guys already know. But these questions evoke thoughts that are productive. The thoughts give way to conversations that are productive. We have to talk about this stuff to process it. We cannot ignore it. Why do some people shy away from separating the wheat from the chaff, the weeds from the garden, the cancer from the white blood cells? Why do some of these people hesitate to distinguish who is clearly who? Why do some people care when racism negatively impacts Shedeur, but not care enough to take the time to distinguish between those who defend Shedeur and fight against racism and those who attack Shedeur and do everything they can to advance racism? Why do some people care that it's affecting Shedeur but not care enough to take the time to distinguish who is who? How and why could white men who want the best for Shedeur and who want the best for all young men, how and why should people like that be lumped in with the abject evil of racism? What would you do in that situation? I've asked it so many times. If you look like somebody who is MAGA and people assume that you stand for that bullshit and it's against everything you believe in, what would you do? What would you say? How would you confront people who can see the racism but refuse to say, those are white blood cells, those are cancer cells. I know the difference. I'm gonna ride with the white blood cells. I'm gonna reject the cancer cells. I'm gonna ride with the herbs. I'm gonna reject the kudzu, the weeds that kill other plants. Why are some of these men angry about racism yet support Trump over Kamala? Okay, because I'm talking about some of my friends who are so angry about the Shedeur situation and say it's clearly racism, and they voted for Trump. They're in the gang where all the racists are in. How does this happen? We all know how it happens, but we do have to talk about it and we have to break it down. It helps some of these young men like me at a young age. I was just raised into that cult. I needed other good men of integrity and character to say, wait, don't you stand for these things? How are you in a party that attacks all of those things? Wait, you stand for these marginalized people? How are you in a party that hurts them and makes their life worse? And because I cared about what was true more than pleasing my family, pleasing my peer group, pleasing the people that I grew up around, I cared more about what was true. I left that behind, so there is hope. And we, good men and women of integrity and character, have to paint the picture for these young men in this cult and show them that there is a path back to common ground, that we are not all enemies, that those of us that can unite on that common ground will be separated from MAGA, because MAGA, you cannot uphold those principles in MAGA. They will attack you and kick you out. Debate me on it. Try it. You already know it's true. If you're in MAGA, you can't seriously stand for liberty, truth, and love. They'll laugh at you, they'll attack you, they'll outcast you, because it goes against everything they're trying to do. And you all know this, we all know this, we all see it. Why have we been indoctrinated not to talk about it? Why are some of these men so angry about racism against Shedeur, yet they support Trump over Kamala? And I don't want to hear any of their BS excuses that they tell themselves to get out of the situation and avoid the argument. We all know the excuses, we all know the BS. Nobody believes them or takes them seriously, not even the people saying them. I want to know the real reasons that some of these young men are afraid to be a man in front of their friends. And I mean be a man to stand against racism, to say, I would never be in the party that shelters, harbors, and protects racists. Even if I agree with them on some other things, on principle, this party accepts, defends, and furthers the goals of racists. I would never identify with them. I will take whatever the alternative is. Why are those men afraid to stand on that in front of people in their peer group, in their community, in their family? What makes them so afraid to be a man in front of their friends? What makes them afraid to be a man in front of their boss or their pastor that they must demonstrate cruelty in front of? A lot of these young men, if they don't show their dad, if they don't show their pastor, if they don't show their coach, if they don't show their boss cruelty towards the people that they're expected to show cruelty for, they will be rejected, outcasted, unaccepted. Why? And what kind of men are afraid of those other kind of men? We know there's childhood mommy and daddy issues that they blame on other people. That's a whole part of that cult, is take people who have severe childhood trauma or significant childhood trauma and use that pain, use the ignorance of being neglected as a child. Because ignorance is not an insult. Ignorance simply means it's dark and somebody hasn't turned on the light. Every ignorant person can become enlightened. Every ignorant person can become wise, but they have to put in the work. In MAGA, the only work is you put on this hat and we'll pretend that you're wise. We'll pretend that you're educated. And so some people who are lazy, like drug addicts, are attracted to that. They have childhood trauma, nobody's ever accepted them. They put on the red hat, now they're accepted and celebrated for nothing. Same way a crackhead gets to experience euphoria without doing anything but hitting the crack pipe. It's the same thing. How do we reach those people? How do we reach the young men who are tired of getting high off their childhood trauma instead of healing it? I want to talk about the real reasons that decent men can be persuaded to ignore evil. Okay, I want to talk about the real actual reasons that decent human beings can be persuaded to go along with a cult that shelters, harvests, and furthers the goal of racists. How can decent men get roped into that? We've talked about in other videos a lot of the different subgroups of people who get drawn into MAGA who don't even believe with the agenda or the policies, but we've talked about all the peer pressure type ways that happens, and we're here to build a bridge and say you don't need to keep getting high with these hyenas. You don't need to keep hitting the rage pipe with these racist crackheads. There is a path to common ground where we will respect you as men and women for standing up for what's right. We have almost all been culturally or socially trained not to mix politics and sports. Why? Why have we all been indoctrinated to go like this, to be repelled by talking about politics and sports when it impacts and affects the young men that we cheer for and root for? And why do we cheer and root for young men? Because we see the work that a young man like Shedeur puts in over the course of years, decades, his entire life. And you see him earn his place and then be stomped down by a system that simply judges him for being confident, for being fearless. We'll talk about there's some way that Shedeur is afraid to be himself, because if he is, it will screw him. But in many ways, he's not afraid to be himself, and the racists can't take it. They don't care about the work that he's put in. They don't care about the integrity of fair competition. They simply want to say, nana, nana, boo-boo. Okay? And we're afraid to identify these people and hold them accountable and call them who we are. And again, what would you do if you looked like these people and you stood against everything that they're trying to promote? What would you do if you were lumped in with them? Does our unwillingness, and this is my last point before we get into DJ Bless One, the Best Ones video, and we're going to work out and react to some other videos talking about the Shedeur situation. The last question that I just have to put out: does our unwillingness to honestly discuss politics come from strength or fear? When we don't want to talk politics and sports, yet we want to complain about what's happening to Shedeur, is that come from a place of strength or fear? Are there people in your life that you're afraid of finding out what you truly believe? Are there people in your life that you don't want to know what you truly believe? Do you believe in liberty, truth, and love? Of course you do. Everybody wants those for themselves. But MAGA does not want those for other people. They don't care if other people get those things, and that is the difference. And we have to have the discernment, the intelligence, the honesty, the accountability to say we see who's who. If you stand for these things, you ride for these things. If you don't stand for these things, You attack these things when other people try to uphold them in society. And we can all see who's who clear as day. Who in your life are you afraid of finding out that you believe in those things? Who in your life will attack you, make fun of you, try to bully you when you stand up for the highest principles a man could ever stand for? You think I'm going to let that person in your life that you're afraid of tell me not to stand for any of these things? A real man would never, ever. And that's what we're here to show you, how to become real men who would never kneel to people attacking the highest principles that human beings have ever come up with. Principles that unite literally all of us into one family. If you are afraid of repping those principles to somebody in your life, you ain't passed the man test yet, son. Bring them to me. I will show you how to deal with these people. And it comes from a place of love, in the same way that if I see that person in your life bullying somebody I care about, I'm about to show them what bullying looks like. And when they can't take anymore, I'm going to say, hey, why don't we all unite over here and all be friends? You bully bullies until they get that they shouldn't be bullying other people. Love is not soft. Whoever in life you think is hard and you're afraid to be a good person in front of, bring them the fuck to me. We will debate, we will compete, whatever they want, and I will show you they are not a man. No man that I would ever fear is against these principles. The only men that I would ever fear are people who are willing to give their life for these principles like me, who take this as seriously as they take their life like me. If you're MAGA, I know you ain't shit because you're afraid of everything that makes people strong. And this is not to insult people. This is to offer a bridge away from the weakness, away from the bitch-madeness, away from the fear and the cowardice that has you living in opposition to the principles you want for yourself. All right, with all of that, I'm going to put on DJ Bless One, the Best One's most recent video about Shedeur. We're going to react to it. I'm going to get my lift in, and then after it's all over, I'll see y'all again tomorrow. If you have any answers to these questions you want to post in the chat, if you have any questions that you want to ask other people, anything that you're thinking about that you want to talk about, any videos you want me to react to, put it in the chat. I'll respond as much as I can. And with that, guys, I'm going to get in my workout. I'm going to get into the DJ Bless One video. And, you know, this is just to remind everybody, all I'm trying to do is increase liberty for you, for me. I'm trying to increase truth for you, for me. Love for you, for me. Because you can't deny other people any of these things and then expect to get them in return. And we all want liberty. We all want truth. We all want love. Why are we going to deny them to other people? This can be the common ground for everything. Will we agree on taxes? Will we agree on economic policy? No, but racism's not going to fly. We're not going to passively allow our democracy to be sold out to the 1% who divides us all against each other if we stand for these things. Because they use lies to divide us. All of these reasons we've been indoctrinated not to talk politics are lies that come from the 1%. That when we embrace truth and we see through these lies, we can never be divided by them. We would know what unites us, and we would never let corporate interests divide us. We would never let billionaires divide us against what's best for all of us. So this is important, and it touches all of us, and the reason that we don't want to talk about it are not strength. The reason that we're afraid to talk about it is fear. And we have to grow up. We have to confront that fear. We have to be different than the generations who came before us. And they raised their children to be afraid to talk about this stuff because they knew, like Shedeur, if he was outspoken about politics, what you think would happen to him? If Shedeur was a ride or die Kamala supporter, what do you think would happen to him? And you already know. Your brain, if I say, imagine Shedeur was like spending as much time promoting Kamala Harris or Bernie Sanders as he was just being himself, you all know immediately how these people would act. And we're just going to accept that? We're going to accept that from the weakest people in our culture, in our group, the most fearful people in our culture or group? We're just going to accept that? Nah, man. And so DJ Bless One, I'm going to talk about where me and him agree on 9 out of 10 issues. But we don't agree on MAGA. I've talked to him in his comments. I think he even said he voted for Trump. So I don't understand how my brother DJ Bless One can see all of the racism coming at Shedeur and not understand that all of those people are MAGA. And so if he doesn't understand that and DJ Bless One sees me out in society and he just assumes that I'm MAGA, what am I supposed to do? So we have to talk about this. We have to distinguish who's who. I have to come to my brother in his comments and say, my brother, I agree with you on 90% of what you're saying. Why are you refusing to say that all of those people belong to this gang? With respect. And what would you do if everybody was lumping you in with a group who stand against everything you believe in? I know what he would do. He would make videos about it because that's what he does. That's what I do. That's why we're here. So we talk about it instead of our conditioning to ignore it because we have strength. We're not afraid. DJ Bless One and I are the type who could debate each other face to face and disagree extremely on something like Trump and then still shake hands and part as gentlemen and overall friends, because I promise you DJ Bless One, the best one, is not afraid to say that he believes in liberty, truth, and love for everybody. I promise you he's not. And this is how you can tell who is who. Alright, let's get in the video.
Yeah, they're lucky right there that wasn't picked off.
So this is Dylan Gabriel snubbing Shedeur, trying to give him a handshake. This is Dylan Gabriel. Shedeur Sanders reaches out to give him a handshake. He just looks away. Now imagine if Shedeur did this to Dylan. Everything you see Dylan do in this video, imagine Shedeur doing it to Dylan and what the reaction would be.
I smile because it's like a moment you prep for and you are extremely excited for, but also got to realize that it's extreme focus, and that's what I've continued to harp on. But you wait for the perfect time, you're going to wait a whole lifetime. So for me, I've always been ready for every moment.
Big hit from Patrick Queen around the edge. He ran a stunt with Nick Herbig, which got him free.
Imagine if Shedeur did this.
Wow.
Imagine if Shedeur did that.
Yeah, I think it's just part of it. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this big game, but it's something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work. That's all we want to do. All of you in this room are entertainers, and you have a job to do, and I respect it, right? And I'm a competitor, so I have a job to do as well. And I think, just...
Honestly, I don't even think about nothing. I don't think about anything. If it's not words or anything, at this point, it can't do anything to me. I know, the God put the ability and the power within me to not even think about nobody else's comments, not care. It is what it is.
Right now, Mary Kay, that's not my focus.
Mary Kay, that's not my focus. This guy here. What up, family? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to dive into this exactly how we're supposed to. So this moment we're seeing what we're diving into, it tells you everything about the state of the Cleveland Browns. This is the state we're in during the embarrassing loss to the New York Giants. My bad, the New York Jets, because they look like the Giants and Jets are the same damn trash teams. Now, cameras caught Dylan Gabriel. Actually, I caught Dylan Gabriel. The camera was just panning to Dylan, and I seen something he did. He was dismissing Shedeur Sanders' handshake after getting sacked for the 3rd time. Now, that might seem small to some people, but to football minds and real fans, that moment speaks volumes about leadership egos and what really is happening inside that Browns locker room. Man, in the meantime, y'all go ahead and smash that like button, hit the notification bell. Yes, don't ask me why I'm holding my Cleveland Browns jersey backwards like I'm crisscross. Because the Cleveland Browns organization is backwards. So we're only representing Shedeur Sanders. I am not a fan of your organization. I am a fan of Shedeur Sanders. Get it out your mind and smash that like button, hit that subscribe because you love it. But we're going to give you the regular different theme song. You know, the Leprechaun Munchkin Guild song? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. We represent.
Now, calling Dylan a munchkin, man, usually I'm not down with talking shit to anybody, but y'all remember what I said about bullying the bullies. Dylan has said so much sideways shit about Shedeur. I don't care if DJ Bless One goes in on him, because it's like fair is fair, bro. You want to be a little snake, you can get bullied too, till you stop. Till you treat Shedeur with respect, then we'll treat you with respect.
Trill and thorough that way. Even if you don't like me, I am nothing without any of you guys, the haters or the supporters. But let's get on right to it. Let's be honest. Dylan Gabriel has never truly accepted Shedeur Sanders as his teammate. But I need you to pay attention to something I've witnessed that gets, in between all the media glazings of Dylan Gabriel, calling him a dual threat quarterback because he ran 3 yards, all the glazings they do, the nepotisms of excusing his abysmal performance, we've caught a lot of things in these last couple of months of the Cleveland Browns' atrocious season yet again. But pay attention how Dylan waves off Shedeur Sanders' handshake. Pay attention. This is right after getting sacked, ladies and gentlemen. Look, he waves him off, so Ngoku actually connects with Shedeur. Shedeur plays it off and shake hands with Nkoju. Pay attention. Shedeur shakes hands with the tight end instead, because it's like, damn, G, you don't like me or something? All right, then on national TV, you gonna do this to me? Pay attention again, because y'all gonna excuse this, or I'm doing too much. But look at it. Dylan Gabriel doesn't even look at Shedeur. Look at it. Pay attention to all you so-called haters who have invested into hating on this guy. Look right in Shedeur's face. No handshake, no eye contact, but you don't believe it, right? It's a gesture of brotherly love, huh? We're all of a sudden going from Cleveland to Philadelphia, right? Right? That's what you're going to tell me? At the end of the day,
if Shedeur did that to Dylan Gabriel, it would be national headlines assassinating his character. And it would all be MAGA people. Okay, DJ Bless One, that's the only thing you're missing. Don't ever think that I'm them. Don't ever think that any of us who voted to have the first black woman president in U.S. history could ever be on the side of tearing Shedeur or Coach Prime down. This is MAGA. That is their group that condones that behavior. The gaslighting you see from Stefanski and the Browns and Dylan Gabriel, the gaslighting is MAGA 101, baby.
To be honest, Dylan Gabriel has never truly accepted Shedeur Sanders as his teammate. Take a look at the series of things of him always dissing Shedeur.
All you in this room are entertainers, and you have a job to do, and I respect it, right? And I'm a competitor, so I have a job to do as well. And I think, just understanding that, that's how I've lived by, and I've said that multiple times, so...
That was his excuse when he referenced Shedeur Sanders being merely an entertainer, being nothing.
All you in this room are entertainers, and you have a job to do.
You guys remember that? Do you remember that diss that came along with the rhetoric? Shedeur responded to it and had something eloquently said possible. We don't give a damn about any of that.
All you in this room are entertainers, and you have a job to do. And I respect it, right? And I'm a competitor, so I have it.
Now, I didn't put Shedeur's one yet.
I don't even think about nothing. I don't think about anything. If it's not words or anything, at this point, you can't do anything to me. I know, the God put...
See, and this is where Shedeur is half honest. Saying that he doesn't think about it is not true. You know he thinks about it every day. But if he's honest, these people will smite him. They're just waiting for him to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you all know what they would do. And I'm telling you, 0 of those men are men who voted for Kamala Harris. Point blank, period. And why does it matter? It matters if you want to stop this shit.
Building the power within me to not even think about nobody else's comments, not care. It is what it is. I spoke with him. He said, nah, bro, it wasn't. He said, that wasn't. He told me on the plane. He couldn't.
Shedeur basically said, I pulled up on Dylan Gabriel and he ain't had all that to say.
Yeah.
We've been showing you a pattern that's been going on
Gaslighting.
and on all season
That's
long.
gaslighting.
And the media kept sweeping it under the rug as if we don't pay attention to what's going on. You can see it in all the pictures and everything, the scrub that comes around Shedeur, what he has been presented, and it's just been abysmal at worst. Now, let's get on more with this deeply commentary. Listen to me, guys. From the preseason to the regular season, you can see the body language, the distance, the subtle shade in interviews. I've been showing you guys that. I think at the start of this video, when Shedeur tried to lift him up after a sack, Dylan pulls back, avoids eye contact, and walks off. That's what you guys all witnessed. That's not competitiveness. That's immaturity right in front of you. He being Dylan Gabriel has yet to display this so-called computer power, this leadership I've been hearing from all you supporters. Can you imagine of all those things I've shown you, if that was Shedeur Sanders doing it, what would be the...
Exactly. Imagine everything that Dylan has done. Grabbing that player's head and twisting it. Shedeur would have been out of the NFL, bro. He'd have been done as a pro player.
The monks amongst you people towards Shedeur doing this.
Big hit from Patrick Queen around the edge.
Here we go.
With Nick Herbig, which got
If Shedeur did this, he's out of the NFL.
Wow.
He's out.
Into that play.
The audio of this video cuts out. So we all know what it would be if Shedeur was walking to the sideline, Dylan Gabriel put his hand out, and Shedeur just looked away. We all know what it would be. We all know what it would be if Shedeur grabbed a man by the head and twisted his neck for making a football play. But what some of us, like DJ Bless One, don't want to look at, here we go. The racists making videos about get out of our country. She ain't Native American. Trump ain't Native American. What are you talking about? We all the kids of immigrants. And most of our families signed a piece of paper to become citizens. They showed up at Ellis Island, they signed a paper, and they said, welcome to the United States, you're a citizen, start paying taxes.
Pay attention to how it's looked at in the media, but look at what I'm going to word it as, because the media is going to call it Dylan Gabriel has passion for the game. He walks off the field, so they're going to try to debunk my video and change the title. I'm going to title it what you see right here. Shedeur Sanders dissed by Dylan Gabriel. I'm not going to sugarcoat it like everybody else wants me to sugarcoat this phenomenon.
He is sugarcoating it when he doesn't say that it's MAGA.
You can clearly understand Dylan would never be this right here, what Shedeur Sanders actually represents.
I got you. I know this is expensive camera, bro. I got you. Yeah. Yeah, what up?
I like that.
Yeah.
I just like that.
Yeah.
I'm back. Hey, big boom. Hey, spam it, big boom in the comments, man. 45, run it up the back end.
There we go. Oh. We're on the live stream. Say what's up. Say what's up. We're on the live stream. Say what's up. Yeah. Say what's up. Vision. Hey, what you gotta say, bro? That was a dart. What you gotta say?
I'm the Rizzler.
Yeah, the Rizzler. I got you. I know this is expensive.
Man, love that young dude, man. You can see how cautious and smart Shedeur is. He's letting people know, look, we're on a live stream just so they don't get tricked out of their position. Meanwhile, the scrub Dylan Gabriel is having conversations like this after being humiliated.
Yeah, my mom used to beat my ass when I was a kid, so I don't think anything will live up to what my mom. No, I'm just playing around, but I'm good. It's part of football, you know what I mean? That's why you.
It's part of football to play atrocious like that. Let's just be more honest about this. Dylan Gabriel has never truly accepted Shedeur because Shedeur was something Dylan could never be. And here's the crazy part. Shedeur Sanders isn't even the starting quarterback right now. He's sitting at the number 2 position. This, while still showing a level of professionalism that Dylan Gabriel has yet to display and show. Now, listen, still trying to bring unity to a team that clearly needs it. That's the definition of what Shedeur Sanders is. He doesn't have his head down. He isn't beating and molding, looking at the ground. He's walking out with chest out, chin up, as a man should. Just being honest with you guys, that's pure leadership that can't be taught. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, immaturity is my proof. Leadership cannot be taught. No matter how much Kevin Stefanski and Dylan share residency, how much they share the same agent and a
same agent,
it could never be
same
said
agent
on the field nor in that locker room. Listen to me.
And they all vote MAGA.
Should have been.
And they all vote MAGA.
Media. Here is Shedeur Sanders being resilient, not moping around, but instead silence. Nobody holds Dylan accountable for acting childish. Nobody does.
Except
Whenever
us, just our tiny channels.
Have that bad, they get dragged for a week. Dylan, you got crickets, like just crickets out there. We've seen this pattern all year long. Dylan Gabriel disrespects Shedeur Sanders publicly. Meanwhile, the media comes out and about and they excuse and scave away from any responsibilities or to hold Dylan accountable, whether it's brushing past him on sidelines, ignoring him during timeouts, or taking subtle shots in press conferences throughout the recent months. Now, what's worse is the coaching staff allows it, and that's because the clown that his name is, Coach Kevin Stefanski and Dylan Gabriel, they have the same agents as I referenced earlier. Believe me, go investigate it and see if I'm exaggerating, but the fun boys and the excuse makers for Dylan Gabriel, because of their hatred towards Shedeur Sanders, they have to pretend they support Dylan. They're going to find immense excuses once again. But Kevin Stefanski, he's in that same circle with Dylan, so that same ego persists amongst.
But he won't say that circle is MAGA. He's so close. You're so close, DJ Bless One. You're so close. That circle that they're in with the racists is MAGA. None of those men voted for Kamala.
Both of these clowns. I'm just standing where a true business needs to be stood and standed on. I'm grounded like that. When your coach and quarterback operates like a boys club and you lose, a credibility and account.
It's not the coach and quarterback operating as a boys club. It's MAGA operating as a racist club.
Accountability, man. You lose leadership, and right now Cleveland has lost all 3. Just like Birdman said to Charlemagne the God on the Breakfast Club.
All three
of those things applies to this. At the end of the day, this isn't just about one handshake. It's about culture. When teammates see a player like what we've all been seeing, to be honest with you, when they see a player that's like Shedeur Sanders, a guy who's been disciplined, media ready, and well respected across college football and football itself, when he gets dismissed by a lesser than accomplished quarterback such as a Dylan Gabriel, I mean, you would have to say something or feel some way towards this. I mean, talent doesn't matter, politics does. Welcome to the existing new NFL we have here.
Oh, he's so close. Politics does matter, DJ Bless One. But he's talking about just politics and football. He won't see. I'm trying to make him see. I try to tell him in the comments. he sees that it's politics. Why does DJ Bless One and other of our brothers like DJ Bless One, some of them, so clearly see the racism, but they will not look at that all those people are MAGA? Why? Somebody help me understand why he can see the racism, but he can't see that it all goes back to MAGA.
That's how the locker room collapses. That's how you defeat your star players. You defeat your fan base. That's why you see the frustration on the field and why fans are walking away. They're claiming they're not going to be participating in this Brown season again. And excuse me, guys, I feel like I'm a great Brown supporter because I've lost my voice. You can hear my voice losing out. I've watched every single Browns game this season, more than I've watched in my complete football history of watching. Talking about years and decades upon decades, I've never watched this much Browns game. But because of the sheer just confidence what Shedeur oozes out, that's why I watch in hopes of maybe he might get in there, maybe he might play. And I'll say it again, guys. Listen to what I've referenced far and far over and over and again. This comes from the top. Owner Jimmy Haslam keeps rewarding discretion instead of
again
accountability.
You're so close, my brother. You're so close. It comes from the top. Yes! It comes from the top. Owner Jimmy Haslam. No! Don't you know who Jimmy Haslam gave millions of dollars to? That's the top. Really, that's not even the top. The top is the billionaires who control MAGA. That is the top. And the owner, the Haslams of the Brown, are the poorest of the people who run MAGA. Yes, my brother, it goes to the top of MAGA. They're all part of MAGA.
Doubles down on it. He's allowing Kevin Stefanski to protect Dylan at the expense of real growth, real wins, and real leadership. The Browns could be building around Shedeur Sanders, a quarterback with star power, accuracy, and calm under pressure. Instead, they're building walls to keep him out. I mean, guys, at this point, Dylan's handshake snubs isn't just petty maneuver. It's not just that. I can deem and coin it anything I want to. No, that's his stitch right now. It's symbolic. It shows who's comfortable and who's committed. I'll let you guys decide which one is comfortable, which one is committed, or which one is not comfortable nor committed. I'll let you guys decide in the comment section, because at the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders showed leadership. Dylan Gabriel showed ego, an egotistic scrub from the Munchkin land. And until Cleveland fixes the culture, they'll keep losing on the field and in the locker room. Thanks for watching, family. This is DJ Blessing One signing out again. If you're fired up from my commentary, let me know in the comment sections. But even more further, to be more honest with you guys, to the actual Cleveland fans and Shedeur Sanders supporters, if you're tired of seeing real talent disrespected, drop a comment below. I read everyone. Trust me, you guys see it. I'm not your favorite YouTuber. Your favorite YouTuber don't care about your comments. I do, and that's why you guys rock with me. Shout out to all of you guys. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We got more truth coming soon. Blessings to all the kings and the queens. I'm signing out with the Munchkin song once again. Boom.
Okay, so another one of my brothers, Mag Dog.
I remember.
Let's see what Mag Dog has to say about the situation.
It's like.
It has nothing to do.
All right, let's go back to the beginning. See what Mag Dog has to say. So again, why are we afraid? Why have we all been conditioned not to talk politics in sports? Yet we can see what's happening to Shedeur. And you know, if it's happening to somebody like Shedeur, it's happening to millions of minority people. The same type of behavior, but it doesn't have the limelight and the cameras on it. So we use Shedeur as an example that everybody can see and look at, because if you've been following him, you know what a good young man he is. You know what an amazingly talented football player he is. And so you see more clearly than anybody what racists try to do to hold a good man down. But why do some of my brothers, are they able to see the racism but not able to follow the chain and see that all of those people vote MAGA? All you got to do is ask them. All you got to do is ask them. You see a troll online saying something crazy about the Sanders, ask them if they support Trump. They will tell you. Zero. You will never find a man who voted for Kamala Harris trying to hold Shedeur back or talking crazy about the Sanders. It's a clear distinction of who is who. And if you looked like me, if you got mistaken for MAGA because of how you looked, if you got mistaken for any group who stands for the opposite of everything you believe in, what would you do? What would you do if people saw you out in public and assumed that you are everything you stand against? What would you do?
With me, I personally wanted a different response simply because I felt like Myles Garrett's position holds weight. Highest paid player in the National Football League, as far as one of the highest paid. If he's not the highest, he's one of them. And he has spent his whole entire career losing, suffering from the Cleveland Browns. So I felt like his position can hold a little weight. But you guys stated that he has to stay political, he has to stay professional, he can't just throw his players under the bus. So with that tells me that Shedeur Sanders is in a situation where he can't win. The players aren't, or they can't speak up for him, according to you guys. The coaches don't want him. The owner can't.
The players can't speak up for him. Why? Why can't the players speak up to him for Shedeur? Because we have all been indoctrinated not to talk politics in sports and culture. Everybody in our society is conditioned not to talk about it. And who does that help? Who does it help when we don't talk about it?
Now, earlier in the year, stated that he didn't want Shedeur Sanders. That was Andrew Barry's pick. And they are continuing to lose games to one-win football teams at the end of the day. So if I'm Shedeur Sanders, I can't win regardless. I'm going to have to just sit back, be patient, and just wait and see how this thing plans out. But I'm telling you guys right now, it looks like a Colin Kaepernick situation, just in a more covered up situation. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but it just looks very, very
I'm explaining it to him, Mag Dog.
Like it.
I'm explaining it to him.
I just want
They're not ready to hear it.
Sanders. I just want to continue to give you guys my commentary,
They're not ready to hear it.
Analysis, and that's just what it is. My apology to anybody out there that I offended when it comes to my stance with Myles Garrett. If you guys don't want to watch the channel, that's cool.
I'm not apologizing to anybody I'm offending. Why would I apologize to people who are offended for me standing up for liberty, truth, and love? I get he don't. I'm just using this to demonstrate how much we've all been conditioned. Mag Dog is conditioned to feel like he has to say, hey, I'm not trying to offend you by saying you are who you are. Why? Why are we afraid to call the weakest people in our society weak? And I know it's because if you don't look like me, if you can't pass for them, they will attack your life. They will try to destroy your life. Whether it's your boss, your peer group, your church, whatever it is. And that's why I say that this question is not up here today, but I often ask MAGA people, this is my question for MAGA people. If you're liberal, you should ask them this. This is what you ask them. Who in your life are you afraid to be a good person in front of? Who in your life are you afraid to stand up for liberty to? Who in your life will try to bully you and make fun of you if you stand up for truth and love? and then I say, whoever that person you're picturing is, send them to me. I will show you how a real man handles bitch-made motherfuckers who laugh at liberty, truth, and love. And I will show you they all fall in the MAGA group. Most of them are racists or misogynists or sociopaths. And why are we afraid to identify cancer cells from white blood cells? Why are we afraid to say, this is a poison, this is a herb. This plant will kill me, this plant will heal me. Why are we afraid to make that distinction? Again, if you're in the position of Shedeur or these players that MagDog is talking about, they'll pull your contract. They'll do to you what they're doing to Shedeur. They will do everything they can to ruin your career and your life. So that's why they can't be honest. But let's say who it is. This is a gang, this is a mafia called MAGA, and they're extorting people for their silence.
Well, it is what it is. I'm going to still be here regardless. But at the end of the day, man, I'm here to support Shedeur Sanders. I'm here to rock out with him. And I hope that some type of way, whether it's a player staying up for him or whatever it is, I just hope Shedeur Sanders gets his opportunity at the end of the day. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notification bell. That way, every time I upload a video, you guys will see it. Until next time. Peace.
Firearms are the #1 cause of death among kids. But we know that healthcare workers can make a huge difference. This is why prevention is absolutely critical.
Alright. Now I just pick a random video as we finish the workout. Okay, I'm gonna put on some Parker. This is gonna be different. This is gonna be switching topics away from Shedeur to just politics in general. And we've already talked about why politics matter. Even though we're conditioned not to talk about it, it results in good young men like Shedeur being taken advantage of, being exploited, being manipulated, being silenced, having their lives be materially hurt for no other reason than there are racists in positions of power. So how do we transition? How does that conversation mesh with this young man who debates MAGA almost all day, every day? And what I will say is, when you watch this young man, you will see how unserious these people are. You will see how much they don't even believe the things that they say out of their mouths. They're simply cheerleading their football team. MAGA don't believe half or more than half of the things that they say. They go along with it because they're cheerleaders who need a team. They're surrounded by a group where they feel like if they stood up for liberty, truth, and love, if they stood up for that team, they'd be the only person in their town wearing that jersey. And you guys know what it's like to be the only Colorado fan in the middle of the Kansas section in Arrowhead Stadium, right? You see what I'm saying? You know what it's like to go to a high school football rivalry and you sit on the wrong side wearing the other team's jersey? That's why good people are afraid to be good inside of MAGA, because they grow up in the hometown of this team, and if they stand for this team, it's against everything this team believes in. They'll be attacked, they'll be outcast. You know how it goes. It's how the home team of a shitty city, a shitty team, because you know, good teams at Colorado, when we have Utah sitting in our fan section or Kansas sitting in our fan section, we tell them welcome. We treat them with dignity and honor and hospitality. And if anybody from the Colorado side doesn't, we Colorado correct our own and say that's not how we roll here. But it doesn't happen. But you go to, I'm ashamed to say, you know, I'm not even gonna get into college football. The point is, these people do not like the opposite team. They don't believe what they're saying. They're cheering for their team. So Parker is going to show you that. I'll pause it and point it out as opportunities arise. But the reason that this is relevant with the people like Shedeur is the people going along with all these racists Most of them in their heart don't even believe in racism. But they think that it's not going to hurt them, and they're too afraid to put on the other team's jersey, so they go along with it, and so it persists. And so the point of Parker is you will start to see that it's a waste of time arguing with these people at face value. I say that it's like going downtown and arguing with the crackhead and taking everything they say at face value and ignoring that they're high. Like, are you going to go and spend 30 minutes debating a crackhead about what they saw in their imagination? No, you're not going to do that. So why are you going to go back and forth with MAGA when they're just repeating what they're told to repeat, like cheerleaders repeating a cheer? And you're like, oh, that cheer is actually incorrect. That doesn't make any sense. And they're like, so? Next cheer. You know, and so then you say, why would people ever end up in a group where they're performing like that? And again, it's peer pressure, it's daddy issues, it's childhood traumas, it's the fear and the weakness to stand up for love, truth, and liberty around people that they're afraid of. That's it. They know they believe in liberty, truth, and love, but some people in their life make them afraid to stand for those things, to ride for those things, to tell their dad, their mom, their cousin, their auntie, their uncle, their pastor, their coach, their boss, their best friend, whoever it is that repeats one of these MAGA talking points that attacks liberty, truth, and love, to be like, no, that's not true. No, that's against liberty. I want the same liberty for other people that I want for myself, because that's what liberty is. No, I'm not going to treat immigrants that way because I love everybody. And somebody in their life is going to be like, oh, love, oh, you're soft. Send them to me. Let them tell me I'm soft. I will show you how real men in real life deal with the bitch-made men who pretend cruelty is something to be proud of. Send them to me. Or grow a spine and stand up to them and watch them shrink like the little worms that they are. It's all bluster. Like made of McDonald's Donald Trump would never face a real man in any type of physical competition. And even his supporters know that. His supporters know that when they say what a beta male is, they're describing Donald Trump to a T, and then they kneel to that beta male. So the people who stand against these things are the weakest. Why are we letting them have their way with people like Shedeur? A lot of it comes back to money. It's money from the bottom all the way to the top. On the bottom, it looks like if I go against my dad, he's going to kick me out of our community and nobody's going to hire me, and I'm going to have to go to some other city where I don't know anybody, and I don't know how I'll get a job, I don't know how I'll survive. I got to please my daddy and my preacher and my boss so that I can keep getting a paycheck, because if I wear the wrong team's jersey in my town, they'll take my job away. So it's money at the bottom, and at the top, it's Donald Trump. Just look at the corporations who have funded the ballroom. One tiny example. Just type in Google, what companies are funding Donald Trump's ballroom? And there's the money at the top. So I just showed you from the bottom or the top, it comes back to money. So we're going to watch Parker. I'm going to keep working out. I'm going to finish my workout. Just notice when they're arguing with Parker, he'll prove them wrong over and over, and they don't care. They just go on to the next piece of propaganda they were programmed as a cheerleader knows a cheer. And all they're doing is demonstrating obedience and loyalty to their jersey, the same reason you wear your Shedeur Sanders jersey out in the city with pride. That's them wearing their MAGA jersey. They're getting something, even though they never played football, they never put in the work, or maybe they did, but to wear that Shedeur jersey, they're getting to identify with something that they really don't have anything to do with. These people putting on the red hat get to identify with a gang, okay, without putting in any type of effort, and that's what they're demonstrating on these debates. They don't care that they get proven wrong. They don't care that they get made a joke out of. And the other thing that they do is they seek attention. Because if you fall into a hate cult like MAGA, there is a huge probability that those people got very little love and attention and guidance in their lives. And that's just being real. We can talk about it, we can debate it, but a lot of people need to join a gang that is so clearly corrupt for the belonging it provides them, because they're so starved for attention and validation in their own lives. And if they're already starved for attention and validation, and they know that putting on the other team's jersey will then cause them to be outcast, now you see why they're too afraid to do it. Now you see why they're trapped. They're already lonely, they're already scared, they're already weak, and the only people giving them any protection from those feelings are the Red Hat cult. But the Red Hat cult says, yeah, we'll give you protection from those feelings as long as you always are obedient to us. As long as you are always loyal to us. The minute you're not obedient or loyal, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, we will outcast you and attack you. It is what it is. And why have we all been indoctrinated not to talk about it?
When you're out in the wild, you either have bear skin or you have no skin.
The bearskin hoodie is actually looking for questions to ask you.
That's not fair.
What do you mean? I'm just getting questions. I'm literally already smarter than a fifth grader. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Who painted the Mona Lisa?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci, right?
Yeah. Maine borders which U.S. state?
What's that?
New Hampshire.
Maine borders which U.S. state?
Vermont. New
Maine
Hampshire.
border, like the state Maine?
Yeah.
It border, which state does border it?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I live close by. I'm gonna guess it. It's gonna be New Hampshire, and I think Canada borders it. That's not a state. I think just New Hampshire.
Okay. Next question. How many syllables are in the word Mississippi?
4.
Hold on, let me count it out. 4?
He's literally Googling.
What are the 3 states that matter?
Solid, liquid, gas.
3 states of matter.
Solid, liquid, gas.
Solid, liquid, and gas, right?
You're totally looking this up, dude.
No, I'm not. I swear to God.
You go like the easiest questions, bro. How about this? Name all of the planets in order.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn,
Order.
Uranus, Neptune,
That's
Pluto.
a tough one. First one would be Mercury.
So the MAGA person said that Parker wasn't smarter than a 5th grader, so now Parker is quizzing the MAGA person, and they're like, what is the point, man? This is just embarrassing for everybody. But I'm going to leave this going as an example of why we're all effed if we don't just start talking about these higher principles. And if you think that these are corny or cheesy, you are part of the problem. Because these are not corny or cheesy when it comes to your life, are they? When it comes to your liberty, that's not very corny or cheesy, is it? When it comes to you having access to truth, when you're trying to learn and you just want to know what's true in a sea of lies, you care about knowing what's true, right? It's how you survive as a human being. It's not corny or cheesy then. When nobody loves you, when you're starved for love and all you want is somebody to validate you, hold you, tell you you're a good person, that you matter, that they love you, that they're happy you're here, it's not so corny or cheesy then, is it? But when we want to talk about making sure that our society lives up to these principles, oh, now it's corny and cheesy. No. Weak men are afraid to do the work. Ignorant men are afraid that this will somehow make their lives harder instead of easier. Okay, and Parker's trying to take these people at face value, and it's like trying to take a crackhead seriously. I tell Parker, I'm like, Parker, you're like going downtown and with a YouTube video on you, and you're like debating crackheads for sport and taking tips from people. and doing it for entertainment. Like, what is this helping, bro? You shred their arguments, you prove how insane what they believe is, but at the end of the day, you're just going back and forth with a crackhead. I mean, I guess at least it shows people like us that literally there's not one person in MAGA who's ever come to debate me or Parker or Dean and made a positive reflection on MAGA. They all just show how childish, cruel, ignorant, poorly raised, in the sense of, if you're raised with any kind of decency, you understand the golden rule and how to treat people. And MAGA shows us the opposite. So this is frustrating to me, but it's why I'm playing it, to make the point that Democrats are a lighter form of cancer than the Republicans, but Republicans are like brain cancer. Democrats are like skin cancer. Nobody wants either one, but you know which one you gotta choose. Because brain cancer might kill you tomorrow. Skin cancer, you got some time. Okay? But we don't have time to go back and forth with the brain cancer. We have to identify cancer, white blood cells. All white blood cells meet here. All cancer, you're out.
Venus, Earth, then Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.
And Pluto.
I genuinely do think you were just reading it off of things. You take a second to look it up. You're totally looking.
This is why they won't debate on camera, though.
No, I know
Turn
that.
your webcam on.
This is why they won't. Yeah, see, he said turn your camera on.
And then close your eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yup.
Hold on.
Now he's gonna be fucked.
Hold on. Shit, I gotta flip. Alright, I'm just gonna close my eyes, okay? And you just gotta have good faith.
How
No.
many countries are in Africa?
Oh, I don't know that one.
I have no idea.
Okay, I feel like he's just trying to play dumb now. What
No,
is
I feel
hyperbole?
so. Who knows that? Hyperbole?
Hyperbole is being over the
I
top
heard
with
this
your
on a recent
analogies.
video, too. I don't
Like,
know.
it's raining cats and dogs.
You don't know what hyperbole is?
It's an over exaggeration.
I know it's like, I don't know the exact definition of it, but I know it's like, it's kind of like an exaggeration, kind of.
I'd accept that. It's an over the top exaggeration that's obviously an exaggeration.
Alright, we're gonna be done now. I don't trust for you, to be honest with you. I have no trust because you were reading the chat on TikTok and then no.
I was not reading the thing. I was not reading the chat. I don't even pay attention to the chat. I was looking you dead in the eyes.
That's so cap. That's so cap. That's
Bro,
ridiculous.
most of those questions are a first grader today.
Jaden, aren't them questions easy? There's a couple difficult
Most people,
ones.
I'll give that. Most people would not actually be able to answer.
No, they wouldn't.
But we're not the average Joe.
You know, they make things for the average Joe. We ain't the average Joe. You know?
The average racist.
Alrighty. Alright, do you have any last things to talk about? Or should I go to the next person?
Well, I was trying to. We just got completely sidetracked, bro. It's like I wanted to talk about Trump, but I know I started the sidetrack, and then it just went out overboard there. But seriously, I do support the big beautiful bill.
Okay, so name
With
two
the-
provisions in the big beautiful bill you like.
I like that. Well, let's just talk about the food stamp.
They gave $1 trillion of tax cuts to billionaires. $1 trillion of tax cuts to billionaires in the big billionaire bill.
I forget what's title and sections and everything I'm going to refer to. But
Also, you like that it cuts 420,000 children off of free school lunch and breakfast and over 2.5 million people off their access to food stamps for both of them.
2.5 million off food stamps. 400-something thousand kids get their breakfast taken away in school, but billionaires get $1 trillion.
That was on average every month.
Bitch made.
well, I don't mind it because
You don't mind children
people
having less
need to
food.
step up for their kid.
You don't mind children having
Yeah, but
less
they ain't going to
food.
starve.
These kids don't care because they're cheering for their jersey. They're cheerleading. They don't care that they don't know anything in the big billionaires bill that they can support. They don't have one single thing. They're against the things he just named, but they don't care because they're cheerleading a team.
They ain't gonna starve, are they?
Yes, they are. They're in the context of school.
No.
They're going to be starving at school. They have no food at school. They're going to be hungry as fuck.
Wait, I don't know them and they're not going to starve, right? So I don't care. Bitch made. And they don't care that that money is going to billionaires. They don't care.
Parents will send them the community.
Because their parents failed them. Their peer group failed them. These kids on the phone are too spineless and cowardly to stand up for these principles in front of whatever men in their life, their daddy, their pastor, their uncles, their bosses, their best friends. They're afraid to be good men in front of those weak men. Why? Why?
Will come together. The parents will send them to school with food.
So you say the community will come together. You understand that us providing this is the community coming together.
AKA the snack program, AKA.
Like literally what we're doing right here to provide them access to free school lunch and breakfast is literally the community coming together. And you're getting rid of the community doing that. And by the way, if everyone's cut off of SNAP and if everyone's cut off of SNAP and food stamps, how are food banks going to make up for that?
They can. Bro, you go to Philadelphia. Bro,
Trust
you
me,
get
bro.
food every day like a kid.
Food banks were talking
Yeah.
about how, again, if food stamps were not in place, that they were not going to be able to satisfy what people needed.
Bro, they got free meal lines all over the place. I don't know what you're talking about.
Where?
They really do. They always have.
Privileged motherfuckers.
You're not
How do
understanding.
you think the homeless?
You're not understanding because it is the case that we
Mediocre
have
white boys who are
6% does not
privileged.
mean that we have them to the capacity.
Mediocre white boys who are
everyone that's
privileged.
currently on SNAP.
Well, people need to get off of SNAP.
So you understand that that's for people who need it, right? You say people need to get off of
I
SNAP.
don't
It's not
think
that
it is.
easy, man.
No. Look it up, Parker. I swear to God, 75% of people on
You know what?
SNAP
People who were on SNAP, they probably thought about this before, that they literally, don't want to be on SNAP. They probably thought about that before. I don't know why you saying that is gonna change their mind or do any good. Like, do you have any actual solutions? Do you have any policies that you're advocating for? Or are you just advocating to kick people off these programs while you give massive tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires?
And ask him if he's a Christian.
No, I'm advocating that they send out a thrifty food plan box to houses instead of a food stamp card.
Wait, actually, I have a question. Where does fertilization occur in the human body?
Fertilization in the stomach.
Jesus
Fertilization
Christ.
occurs in the stomach? Dude,
Yeah.
what? That is a crazy take, man.
That's crazy.
Fertilization definitely does not occur in the stomach, my guy. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tubes, my guy. Where does pregnancy occur in the human body? Where does pregnancy occur in the human body? Where does pregnancy occur in the human body?
And fallopian tubes, then.
No. Pregnancy occurs in the uterus. Dude, you thought stomach acid babies were coming into existence.
Stop asking dumb questions, Parker.
What do you mean a dumb question? What do you mean a dumb question? That to me, right there, just proved that you were totally using a search engine. He was totally. There's no way he could have answered all. There's no way he answered all of those questions after he got the first ones wrong. By the way, in terms of the Senate, by that particular deal. And there's no way he could answer all of those questions after literally just claiming that fertilization occurs in the fucking stomach. Are you kidding me? Are you pro-life, man? You gotta accept the unmute. Harold, thank you so much for the push the $10. Thank you.
No, I'm not pro-life. I'm pro-choice, baby.
Are you Christian?
He don't even know what it means.
Okay. Jessica, thank you for the $5. Thank you. POT, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Yeah, literally.
It don't happen in the fallopian tube. It happens in the
Thank you
uterus.
$1. What's up?
Yeah, I don't have
Fucking dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Do you have an argument? I mean, or were you a stomach baby too?
No, listen.
Were you a stomach acid baby as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name 5 logical facts with your eyes closed.
You said what?
Name 5 logical fallacies with your eyes closed.
Appeal to authority.
Strawman fallacy.
Strawman, black, white.
I can point to the
Ad
naturalistic
hominem.
fallacy. Those are 2 so far.
Appeal to
I can
authority.
Point to, let me think. The composition fallacy. I can point to, shit, dude. 3. I don't know since I thought about fallacies. Give me a second.
2 quote fallacy.
I got you. See, fuck. Of course you asked me 5.
It's alright. You don't have to name
Dude,
it.
yeah, I'm cooked, man. I'm so cooked.
Yeah, it's
Actually-
alright. It's alright.
I'm actually, yeah, red herring.
Yep.
I read that off the chat.
Yep.
Oh fuck! I
Sorry,
literally I forgot all those. God of the Gaps, dude. I know so many. I literally did not. Yeah, I knew so many. I just like didn't even think about it.
Oh, so you know that you
Well, no. I mean, I got 3. Whoopsie.
No,
I'd say these all the time. Correlation, causation, fallacy. Wow, I'm so horrible.
Yeah, we only remember 15% of the things we're told, you know? So it's not your fault. You remembered like 60. You're pretty good. You're chilling.
Memory's cooked. No, my memory's trash, dude. That was horrible. I literally there were so many there that I literally should have known. Yeah, you got me bad though. You got me. Clipped. Parker exposed.
No, but seriously, the big beautiful bill, the food stamps, you don't agree with sending like, let's say like a HelloFresh, you know what HelloFresh is? We send like a little box like that every month.
That's way more expensive, you fucking idiot.
I'm getting to the store and stuff.
God.
What's your goal?
They're so
What's your goal
dumb.
Otherwise, should they just do it themselves? Do you think that saying do it themselves is gonna fix it? They could have done that specifically alongside staff as well.
No, they need the people are taking advantage of the snack program.
Snack program.
So you're saying taking advantage, but this bill doesn't specifically address anyone who has specifically taken
It
advantage.
gives $1 trillion to billionaires that they don't care.
People who do
And
deserve
Parker's
it.
not even asking
You
them
think at
about
least
it.
most people in staff deserve it.
No.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Most don't.
Most definitely deserve
Why?
it.
Why?
Yeah, because it is the case that people need food. There's income requirements on it. That means people can't afford it themselves. There is a work requirement already, meaning that
Because we're America.
everyone deserves food.
Because we take care of each other.
Well, I know people deserve food, but it shouldn't be provided by fucking me.
Yes, it should be. And also, bro, you act like you're the one that's paying all of the tax.
But he doesn't care that he's giving more money to Apple and Google. And Parker's not pointing that out. Bro, you don't want to pay for food stamps. You pay 5 times more of your tax dollars to Google, Apple, Microsoft, Exxon, Purdue, Pharma, Monsanto. You're paying so much more money to those billionaires than you were having to give to poor people. But you're so ignorant that these billionaires can point to poor people on food assistance and get you riled up about them, and you don't even care that they're taking $5 for every one the poor was taking. Why? Because they don't care what's true. They're showing loyalty to their masters to get the inclusive benefits of being in this gang. And Parker and other Democrats have got to realize this. You can't argue them at face value. You have to zoom out and say, wait a minute. You're talking about poor people deserve food, but you shouldn't have to pay for it. Don't you understand that in this bill, you're now not paying $1 to poor people's food, but now you're paying $5 so that billionaires can have a tax break? If you can't see the bigger picture with these people, debating them is as much a good use of your time as going back and forth with a crackhead on the street. It's crazy, it's asinine. And Parker can be right about everything he's saying and still missing the big picture.
Just like we're not. I pay taxes
Yeah,
too.
but yeah. At the end of the,
Why are you whining
at the end
about
of the day, because it takes money out of my pocket. I struggle
it?
myself.
Okay,
It's
so
not
understand
fair.
that Kamala
It's not
Harris is going to impose less taxes on you compared to Donald Trump. Donald Trump's imposing more taxes on you.
You can't say that.
You
because
pay
win.
like $35 to $50 a year.